After intense pressure, Aung San Suu Kyi finally addressed the Rohingya refugee crisis. But in her most anticipated speech since becoming Myanmar's leader, she avoided criticizing the actions of the military, something the UN calls textbook ethnic cleansing.
It is not the intention of the Myanmar government to apportion blame or to abnegate responsibility. We condemn all human rights violations and unlawful violence. We are committed to the restoration of peace, stability, and rule of law throughout the state.
Her address lacked the specifics on how to end or even ease the unfolding Rohingya refugee crisis on her country's border with Bangladesh. Nor did she offer definitive explanations of what took place in Rakhine State over the last 4 weeks.
We want to find out why this exodus is happening. We would like to talk to those who have fled as well as to those who have stayed. I think it is very little known that the great majority of Muslims in the Rakhine State have not joined the exodus.
But over 410,000 have fled, and 210 Muslim villages were burned down, according to Human Rights Watch. But she chose to focus on the villages that were not attacked.
More than 50% of the villages of Muslims are intact. They are as they were before the attacks took place. And we would like to know why. This is what I think we have to work towards. Not just looking at the problems, but also looking at those areas where there are no problems.
She asked for international assistance on the situation and pledged access to some of the areas impacted from the latest violence. But to some, the speech fell well short, saying it didn't properly address the immediacy of the crisis and that her speech might lead to further condemnation of how she's handling the situation.
When you say the international community, NGOs and others, and also just the general buzz from media commentators, individuals, I think there's some level of outrage. They wanted more. They wanted a direct, if not apology, some kind of acknowledgement of the enormity, the scale of human misery we've seen in the last few weeks.
But some diplomats who attended the speech said it was a good start.
As a first step, I think it was a good speech, a good message to the international community, because I'm sure that further steps will follow.
Aung San Suu Kyi repeated the phrase peace and harmony many times in her speech. But if there's no progress of relief for those suffering in refugee camps who fled from her country, the situation could get a lot worse. And that idea of peace and harmony might become even farther away. Scott Heidler, Al Jazeera, Naypyidaw.